Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is another in the series of idle chat videos for the American Bar Association section for dispute resolution. Today, I get to talk to a lovely, lovely colleague, South African, living in Philadelphia, United States of America. Everybody, this is Melanie. Melanie, how are you?
I'm good, Natalie. Thank you so much for having me on. It's wonderful to be here.
Oh, well, I really appreciate you spending your valuable time with me. So, Melanie, idle chats. We've got a bunch of questions on the cards. We give the cards a shuffle.
I'm nervous.
And right. Don't be nervous. I promise no mediators will be harmed in the filming of this video. All right. The first card, ma'am. What was cool when you were young, but is definitely not cool today?
Well, I'm at the risk of giving away my age. At various intervals, bell bottoms were cool. But it comes and goes. But at a particular time, they were super cool. And when you wore them, you felt really cool.
So true. And when you wore them, you could put platform shoes under the big bell. So people like me who were super short, you could feel very statuesque. And some of us who were nerdier than some other people would spend hours and hours putting fancy embroidery work on our jeans.
Yep. Or a goofy cartoon or something embroidered. We had a lot of fun with those.
Yeah. Tweety bird, that's what I had on mine. Well, I so apologize to that. Yeah, the whole generation. Yeah. All right. Bell bottoms. All right. Now, Melanie, what is scarier to you, snakes or spiders?
That's a really good question. Born and raised in Africa, there were a lot of snakes and spiders. I would go with spiders because somehow I found snakes fascinating, and which are the dangerous ones, the poisonous ones. I mean, I lived quite a lot in the bush, went out and safari often on the ground, wore the right shoes, encountered snakes. I would never play with them, and I wouldn't want to have one as a pet. But spiders are kind of creepier, like you don't know that they're on you, and they're sort of creepy. So for me, I find spiders scarier.
I'm on Team Spider too. All right. Melanie, do you prefer things to be carefully planned, or are you just the kind of a go with the flow sort of a person?
I love that question. I'm an easygoing person, and I do go with the flow. And I'm good at that. I don't mind it at all. And in fact, I like the excitement of it. However, planning, I don't mind either. So I sort of tend to live my life with a combination of the two. So I would say from my perspective, I'm a little bit more balanced than saying one or the other, but maybe that accounts for the mediator in me.
I was just going to say, perfectly suited, perfectly suited. All right. Ooh, here's a good one. Melanie, what is just fine in small numbers, but positively terrifying in big numbers?
Wow, that's going to take some thinking, because I don't want to get political. And I could easily go there, but I'm not going to do it.
This is a chat about idle chat.
Idle chat. Okay. So for me, it's more about silence versus noise. Like if there's a lot of people talking, I have a little bit of a hard time with that if there's a lot going on. But when it's just a few people talking and a conversation with a few people around, I focus well and I enjoy that. But a lot of peripheral noise, I'm not a fan of.
Good answer.
The ball game. I will go to the ball game and I will hear that kind of noise.
That I think is palatable because it comes in manageable doses.
Mm-hmm. And you're relating on a level, you're sort of part of it.
Yeah, that's true. And when you contribute your voice, then it's not noise, it's noise. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Melanie, have you lived in the United States long enough to develop an opinion about which one of these is better, mayonnaise or Miracle Whip?
Okay. I don't even know what Miracle Whip is. And I have lived here long. And don't ask me why. So I can't even answer that question, but I am a pretty worldly person. So I guess I ought to be embarrassed.
You should never be embarrassed. But Miracle Whip is a kissing cousin of mayonnaise, but it has, I think, a little vinegar, a little paprika. It's a little spicier.
Ah,
But in the United States, to Americans, it can be divisive. It can be almost as divisive as whether or not pineapple belongs on pizza.
I had, as a mediator, a divorce case where it was the pineapple on the pizza that was the straw on the camel's back. After a 40-year marriage, she said, when he came home while I was fixing the roof, which I shouldn't have had to do, and planning for our selling of our house, planning for our retirement together in another state, I was on the roof and he said, darling, here's a pizza. And it had pineapple on it after 40 years of marriage. That is what made me decide to come to your office for my divorce.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So that one I know. That one I know.
I guess everybody's got their limit. You gotta, gotta close the door somewhere, I suppose. Yowza. Well, next time you're in the supermarket, pick up one of the little travel sizes of Miracle Whip.
I'm going to write that down. Miracle Whip.
Yeah, and give it a taste. It's just the spicy cousin of mayonnaise.
Will do.
All right. Let's see. Melanie, what do you do when you're having difficulty falling asleep?
Oh, that's a good question. I pick up a book and read. And usually that does the trick. So, and I do periodically have difficulty falling asleep. So, I don't know if my brain's saying to me, don't sleep so you can read because you haven't read enough. That could be it, but it is definitely a way for me to fall asleep.
Right. And what do you read?
Oh, I love reading biographies. That's all I like to read are biographies. Because there's not a lot of time. I work hard, I work many hours. And so I don't really have enough downtime to read. So I always have a biography next to my bed and pick it up, read it. Right now, I'm reading Samantha Power's her biography, and it's a fabulous, fascinating read. But I can only go a few pages in it at a time because of the time factor.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair.
All and right. Fall asleep.
And do what you're supposed to be doing, sleeping, right? All right. Well, Melanie, I will ask you the same question I ask all of my guests as the last question, and that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry and the work that we do?
Oh, most of my mediation work is uncoupling, divorce mediation. Sometimes I find that these divorces actually land up in what I call marriage continuation agreements. In other words, sometimes the couples are not quite ready, but yet they're still there and they want to give it another shot. And so we work certain things out that might not be entirely law-based, but are just issue-based. And it just is a derivative often of what just has happened in these mediations. What I love most is that it really, truly is a creative process where it is owned by the couple uncoupling. And they're not in front of a judge deciding on the various issues. They're in control of their own process. It takes a maturity. It takes an emotional control because this is obviously charged. However, it can be done with a good mediator. And I find that they can make solutions that are creative without somebody winning or losing. Whereas in the court system, if you go right to a judge and you're not trying to get creative and figure stuff out, you are just going to have someone else make a decision for you and you're not in control. And having that ability to go outside of what the law prescribes all the time, while understanding what the law may or may not do, is extremely valuable. I don't think that the divorce system should be part of the civil law system. When you litigate a divorce, the first thing one of the couple serves on the other, the one spouse serves on the other, is a summons. And it says you are being sued. And, that's not a nice way to uncouple when there are other options. And some people don't even know that there are options. Often the courts will require that you have mediation, but this immediate sense of hostility, you are being sued, is something I find offensive.
Sure, because it puts somebody on the defensive.
Yeah, and it shouldn't have to be that way. I think there should be special courts for divorce. I don't even know that they should be called courts. And of course, it is the law that governs your rights and your duties. But by the same token, you can figure out how to do it. And if you can't, then you can have the option of litigating. I think it should happen the other way around than how it happens.
Yeah. But it sounds like you do a brilliant job for your clients.
Well, I have happy clients. Happy in context, though, because this is never a happy situation. But I think what makes people happy as well is not overspending. And in the realm, I personally, when you throw, my colleagues are probably going to hate me for saying this, and it's probably why not a lot of lawyers want to refer often immediately to mediation. And I say that with all due respect, but you don't need to throw as much money as you throw at this. You really don't. And you can perfectly be represented. You can have consulting attorneys on the side in a limited, cost-effective way. And this is what we try and promote with the way we mediate the divorce and dissolution of marriages.
I love it. I love it. Melanie, thank you so much for spending some time with me and having an idle chat. I really appreciate your answers and your opinions.
Thank you so much, Natalie. It's been so much fun.
Yes, it has been. And go Phillies.
Go Phillies.